So, are you and Amy going to watch any RuPaul?
So, just between us squirrel friends,
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna finish watching, but she already had hers, and then I thought, oh no, she better don't.
So I'll take that as a yes.
Hi, toddlers. Welcome to Talking to Todd, weekly podcast with Dewayne Johnson and Todd Prince. They can't all be winners, but they can all be catchphrases. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Todd.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good.
I can't believe I got you to say that. Okay. To be completely honest, that was a little too easy, but, I'll take it.
Oh, hey, I'll play along. Why not, right?
I'm Ron Burgundy. We just do what the Google Doc tells us to do. I don't know. That's the way it works.
You wrote it in there. I read it. That's how it is.
I'm sure we'll have more follow-up from the cold open as we go throughout the show.
We did, per Lisa's recommendation, watch season 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race. And I watched episodes 1 through 5 or maybe 6, I guess, together with Amy. And then I reffed a couple of basketball games earlier this week, and she binged the rest of it.
Okay.
Amy's feedback?
Yep. Not
bingeable. You need to pace yourself on these.
I mean, okay, I'm just, so she watched like 14 episodes, and then at the end of 14 episodes, that's kind of like ordering a pizza. The pizza gets delivered to the table. You eat the entire pizza and then say, excuse me, waiter, this is awful. Can I get something else? But actually,
there was way too much here. How did you let me order this and eat it all? And yet,
yeah. I can see that though. There's a you know what? There's a lot of shade. There's a lot of shade if you just go back to back to back.
I got through the Snatch Game episode. That may have also been the one where the library was open.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
They did a musical. They did a musical that I watched. They also did a music video. Incredibly entertaining.
There's not a lot like it on TV.
Nope. And do you want to watch another one? Sure, I'll watch another one. I want to see where this is going. Now I'm invested. And thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys are right. But, 2 or 3 episodes at a time is plenty, and then come back to the next day. And then, I don't.
Yeah. 2 or 3.
14 at a crack, too many.
2 or 3, and then maybe something by Richard Attenborough. Maybe something.
A little palate cleanser.
Yeah, just a little. And the tree frog then jumps from one leaf, just to kind of reset a little bit.
Well, I'm safely up in this tree. Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom there, for those that didn't get the reference. So did Lisa have any feedback or follow-up provided from last week's couple deals?
I don't think she's caught up to the extended remix that we released last week of episodes and bonus episodes. So no, I don't believe there was any. I don't have any feedback yet on episode 50 and bonus content festivities that we had.
And Amy just had RuPaul follow up. She didn't have any feedback on the episodes because I was in it. Why do I need to listen?
Oh, well, so what I would tell Amy and anybody who is on a podcast, especially this one, just because you're on it doesn't mean you have any idea of how it's going to end up. Nor do you even know what's going to end up. So, and the weird thing is that's because I don't edit this, right? You edit it. And so you get to make the decisions you want to make. And so sometimes I'm like, oh yeah. But as you've pointed out in the last episode, sometimes when you listen to it, you're surprised by what's in it.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's new to everybody.
Did I leave that in? Did I not leave that in? I don't remember. Anyway,
the weirdest thing happens, and it's just this tells you how easy it tells you how predictable I am, which is when I go back and I listen to every episode, and you're setting a story up. I have forgotten that you've told me the story. I then have a response in my head that I would say. And then I hear me give the exact same response. And I go, oh, that was pretty good. That's what I would have said. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's consistent, right? You take the same set of inputs and you get the same set of outputs. Now, occasionally there is boy, that did not go well. I don't know why I said that. But more often than not, I come up with the same, I literally come up with the same jokes from scratch every time. So, okay. So what about any other feedback that we got?
Let's see. Sarah Judson Brown.
Toddler number -18.
Yes. She would like to propose a spin-off podcast, which is Talking to Lisa and Amy.
Okay.
And I said, so I would still end up doing 98% of the work because let's be honest, neither one of them is going to do a lick of editing. And your suggestion is noted, and I'll pass it along, but we all know that's not going to happen.
I was more thinking, though, the feedback was this. You know what? Love your guys' show. The only thing I would change is both of you. But we're the whole show. Well, I mean, from a certain perspective, right? I like the format. I like the concept. We just like Amy and Lisa better than the two of you. But you know what? I'll pass that along. We'll see.
And then she also, to save us the trouble.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Whatever you do, do not Google Sexy ALF.
I don't know who, I don't know why. Boy, that takes fan fiction to a whole new, you know what? I'm just going to, I don't need to see that. Okay. Just as a general rule.
No one needs to see Alf's head on Fabio's body, even though we referred to it.
We did
in last week's show.
We did.
And that's basically what she sent us. Yow. Ugh.
Well, it's Alf's head on Fabio's body with a side of Anthony Weiner, which is which is the problem. So anyway, but that's a political. You know what? That's for the other podcast.
That is for the other.
That's totally political. So
Sherry High also Googled Sexy ALF.
We have to be careful about what we do.
We really do. We put these things out there, and she got a guy playing a saxophone, so it went better than this, but still not recommend. She also requested a nickname, and since she is the youngest of at least the six of us, she's Toddler Baby. She did not get a number because she asked for a nickname. So she's Toddler Baby, but once she gets her doctorate that she's studying for now, she will then be Dr. Toddler.
Well, to be fair, I thought it was going to be Dr. Toddler Baby. I mean,
would be accurate on all three counts. So
yeah,
then there
right.
you go.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
just because you just get a doctorate doesn't mean you lose your entire identity. So
Let's see one more piece of feedback. So Lauren Campbell, who we'll talk about a little later in the show as well, she was listening, heard her name, stopped the show, backed it up, and called her husband over so that he could listen to it, going, "That's me. I'm somebody." So you know, the more call outs we have for our listeners, the better. If you send feedback to feedback@talkingtotodd.com or through a myriad of other ways, you too can have your voicemail played by calling 515 also CPA or sending us a piece of feedback through any of the other functions. Anyway, did you get any feedback through also CPA or anything else?
No. I'm just assuming that everybody is. I assumed everybody was taking the chance to go watch RuPaul, and we haven't heard back from them. What I now realize is everybody missed the RuPaul stuff and focused on the Sexy ALF piece, and we got to be careful about that. Anyway, I'm thinking if we put a disclaimer at the beginning of the show, like we've talked about doing, we should probably also say, for God's sakes, don't Google anything that we talk about on this show.
It's not a good thing.
And don't do it at work.
Definitely don't do it at work.
Well, that closes the book. Well, not really, because we can still get feedback as people listen. That closes the book on episode 50, and on to episode 51. I put 2 on there. One I kept secret from you, because that's the new thing.
That's how we do.
Yeah. I was going to say, you either need to watch more or less RuPaul, because this level is kind of fun, but I think... Okay.
So for the last several, well, not last week, but for the 2 weeks before that, you had some headlines for me.
Yes. Yep.
I found one for you this week.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So if you've got more for me, I've got one that I can shoot at you too.
Apparently the interns are still unsupervised at NBC Sports because they are turning out ridiculous content. So I got plenty.
That's where I got mine.
Yeah. That's where they mostly come from.
So here are these two, so you can describe.
Okay. Let's see. All right. So the top one are that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a huddle. Which, I know what this is. I know. Oh yeah, this one's pretty obvious. So that's LA Rams hire new associate strength and conditioning coach.
You're not far off.
Okay.
Okay. And then the second one?
And the second one is that split screen with Mike Florio.
Yes.
And that's Travis Kelce.
It would be.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's the Chiefs tight end, and they're in the AFC. Pitchers and catchers report for Major League Baseball.
So close.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so close. Here. See here.
The first one, report Patrick Mahomes likely to have off-season surgery on injured toe.
So it did have something to do with strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
It's closer than I got on any of my guesses.
My thought is the picture is of the Buccaneers in the huddle, and I'm now thinking that they're all standing over Patrick, looking at his toe, going, "You're gonna need to fix that.
You're gonna need to
have surgery." And then the one with Travis Kelce, Orlando Brown Jr. wants to play left tackle, which may mean leaving Baltimore.
Which hasn't did Travis Kelce used to play in Baltimore?
Not that I'm well. I mean, I think he's played a game. He's probably played a game there as a member of the Chiefs. So I mean, it's there's I mean, the NFL is a small thing. If you assume that what they're doing is this is just an elaborate 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon game. you can make that work.
Yeah, so those are the two that I got. Good work, NBC Sports. What do you got?
All right, let's load these things up. Okay, we're gonna start with some football, and then we're gonna expand. This one is from February 16th.
Oh, okay. So that's a picture of J.J. Watt.
Yep.
And he's leaving the Titans.
Well, that would be news.
Or he's leaving the Texans. Excuse me.
Yep.
It could have something to do with the Titans. It could also have something to do with tennis. So I don't know. Report: Steelers hire Grady Brown as secondary coach.
Now, admittedly, as we've pointed out, you're not going to get anybody to read a story about the Steelers hiring a new secondary coach. But if you put a picture of my first thought was, did J.J. Watt just leave the Texans to become the secondary coach for the Steelers? That would seem like he's probably not going to get paid his $20 million a year to do that. All right, next one up.
Wow, these people are awful.
Yeah, but now we're going to get to some fun. Because with the NFL wrapping up, NBC Sports is having to they have to cover other stuff now. This is going to start getting, I'm going to send you this one. And this is a multi-parter.
Oh.
So
soccer. Mark will be interested in this. Here we go.
Yeah.
I don't know the foggiest idea who this guy is.
That's okay. Neither does NBC Sports. Yeah, they don't know who the NFL players are. How are they going to have a possible idea of who these soccer players are?
He plays for Chelsea.
Yeah, right.
I had to zoom in on the little logo. I'm like, oh hey, go Comets.
So I believe that's a picture of Christian Pulisic. U.S. men's national team and the next great hope for American soccer. And he does play for Chelsea. So, of course, this is the headline that goes with it.
New York Red Bulls sign youngest player in club history who turns 15 on Wednesday.
Yeah. Now, it's not Christian's brother. And by the way, Chelsea's in the Premier League in England. New York Red Bulls are in Major League Soccer in the U.S. There is literally no connection. However, they kept going. This is the same page on my phone.
It's the same picture.
It's the exact same picture. Yep.
The picture is the same above as below on consecutive stories.
Yes.
And I have to guess that neither of the stories have anything to do with Chelsea. U.S. men's national team Barcelona defender Sergino Dest out injured. Well, in their defense, at least it's someone who at one point played for the men's national team.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's getting there, but I'm starting to get concerned though, because that was all on February 9th. On February 16th, this story ran.
We've got the one picture of one soccer player for the month of February. That's what we're running.
They literally paid for one quote unquote soccer player picture. Every soccer story we run, show the picture of Pulisic.
Well, story number 1 was under soccer. Story number 2 was also under soccer. Story number 3 is filed under sports.
just sports.
Which other people would argue soccer is not sports. And that it's barely entertainment. 0-0 tie. Woo! Transfer news. U.S. men's national team CJ Dos Santos to Burnley.
Okay, so now we're getting closer, right? So Burnley is in England. And this is another U.S. men's national team player. So apparently, according to NBC Sports, anytime you mention soccer or U.S. men's national team, we've already bought the picture. You don't need to buy any other pictures.
Just run Pulisic and you're good. Fine, whatever.
Now, I have a bonus point for you.
Okay. Because I'm at this point over 6, but you were over 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the bonus point. We've now seen plenty of pictures of Christian Pulisic in his Chelsea strip, as they say. I'm going to ask you this question, without you looking this up, can you tell me what number Pulisic is?
Well, for Chelsea, he would look to be number 3.
Yes, he would, wouldn't he?
At least from the picture that they ran 5 times, yes.
Yes. Do you know his actual number?
Is it not 3?
No, it's not.
Did they put his head on somebody else's body? What in the hell did they do? Kevin?
Nope. His numbers, he's number 10 on Chelsea.
Where did this picture come from?
Oh, that's legit. The Chelsea Football Club are sponsored by a UK cell phone company whose name is the number 3. So everybody on the field for Chelsea wears a 3 on the front of their jersey. Everybody's wearing a 3.
Okay, that may be the stupidest thing that I have ever heard.
We're gonna have to post this picture though, just so that everybody can see how ridiculous. Hey, Dewayne, what's this guy's number? I don't know. 3? Wrong. Oh my God, that was the easiest one out there.
I want to reopen the nominations for Idiot of the Week and nominate Chelsea for their uniforms. Are you friggin' kidding me?
Oh,
You referenced Red Bull and as the sponsor of one of the New York Red Bulls, right? So this is a Red Bull ad, and then you can tell people why this is funny.
okay. All right.
A lion! Ah, yes, the king of the jungle. Time for a Red Bull. Red Bull? Still, you'll never be faster than a lion. I don't have to be quicker than the lion, just faster than you. Red Bull gives you wings.
I think we deserve a writing credit.
We have been telling that joke for 40 years.
We have, and now Red Bull's ripped us off, and we've ripped that off of somebody else.
Oh, I don't have to be faster than the bear. Someone came on, I went, Todd.
Somebody has finally recognized the genius of us repeating this joke over and over and over again.
So that was the commercial that I watched. What else are you watching this week?
Well, hold on. No.
Oh, no, we're not ready yet.
I undersold the other topic because if I put on what it really is, you would have skipped it. But then I made it so boring that you also skipped it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's timely, so I want to make sure that we get to it. So, what did I call it for you to skip over?
Bullet number 1.
Yes.
How to write a PR statement.
Yes. Okay. That's the subtitle. The actual title, and you're going to love this, is America's Cup Update. But this is awesome. Because
that I would have just skipped over.
Exactly. I would have had no shot. So I had to get you to at least start going down this road. But the great thing is this has nothing to do with the actual sporting portion of this. This actually has to do with what I think might be one of the greatest press releases I have ever seen released. Because normally when people write press releases, they clean them up so that you never say in a press release what you're thinking in your head. You clean it up and make it nicer, right? You take the rough edges off of it.
Sure.
Apparently that doesn't apply if you're a Kiwi, because this is astounding. So I'm just gonna give you a little bit of where we're at and a little bit of context, and then I'm gonna read some of this press release. So New Zealand has been doing amazingly well with the coronavirus. As a matter of fact, for the last 6 months at least, they don't have social distancing. They don't have mask wearing. They're on an island, and when you come in, you have to mandatory quarantine. So when they've been showing pictures from Auckland, literally there's massive crowds gathered, all hanging out together, drinking beer. It looks like what we're trying to get to. That's awesome. Except earlier this week, they, for the first time in months, started having some cases. And so they're going to react very, very quickly. Now, the problem with this is...
Wait, You can do that?
Apparently
Because
it's a thing.
I live in Iowa and we don't do that around here.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Sorry, please. But I digress. Please proceed.
The other podcast. Okay. So, so the problem with the timing here is the Prada Cup, which determines who's the one challenger that gets to challenge for the America's Cup. That started last weekend. And the two boats are Italy's Luna Rossa is facing against Great Britain's Ineos, Team UK. And Luna Rossa.
Rose Moon?
Luna
the
Rossa?
Rose Moon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. Actually, it's actually like Pirelli, Prada, Luna Rossa, Ferrari. I don't know. They got a lot of sponsors. Anyway.
The Ferrari Maserati Luna Rossa boat was running real good this weekend.
I'd like to thank Mobil One, Chick-fil-A, and Prada for all their support.
Words you will never hear come out of a NASCAR driver's mouth.
Exactly.
I'd like to thank Prada
for believing in me and give me this sweet bag. Looks like the Prada Mustang's on its hood. It's getting passed by the Louis Vuitton, the Louis Vuitton Camry. I don't think this sport is back to its roots the way it used to be.
Cover girl.
So the first team to 7 wins gets to move on to the America's Cup. There's been 4 races. Luna Rossa has won all 4. Okay, and then as soon as they're up 4-0.
It's not a best of 7. It's a first 2-7. This is technically a best of 13.
It is a best of 13. Yes. Yeah. So it's first to 7.
And they said people wonder. No, people don't wonder. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. You know what they're thinking? You know why they do best of 7 instead of best of 13? Content.
Okay.
Given the fact that you have 2 boats that could tip over at any point, the more races you have, the more chances you have of a boat tipping over, right? So
again, back to NASCAR.
Exactly.
We're just watching for the.
Yeah, buddy.
Do they say boogity 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 when they take off?
They don't, because they'd be sued by Darrell Waltrip, and I hear you don't want to face him in court.
Fair. Sorry. Okay, so they have won 7.
So they're up 4-0.
Oh yes. Sorry.
And there were some races then scheduled. And then all of a sudden, Auckland says, we're going on complete lockdown for 72 hours. Shut it all down for 72 hours. And they had to postpone 2 days. They had to postpone a day of racing. And then New Zealand is going to lower them from level 3 down to level 2, down to level 1. The race organizers want to delay the racing until all the fans can come back. Because they're actually fans out on the dock, and these boats are now racing in close to the coast, so people are actually coming out and seeing it. And because this is a really expensive thing to do, so they want people to go to the restaurants, they want people to go to the bars, they want that, right, and all of this stuff. So what they basically said was, how about we push off for 1 week until we get back down to level 1? We'll just hold off for a week so that all the fans can come back, and then we will continue and we'll pick up the series right where it left off. The problem they had is that this might sound weird, but this expensive yacht sailing, all of the rules would make a lawyer blush about how extensive the rules are around this stupid sport. It makes golf look like it makes the rules of golf look like the way that you and I play, which is, you're within 6 feet, pick it up, right?
Close enough.
Yeah, whatever. That's fine. You know what? You hit a fairway. That's inbounds. It's inbounds somewhere, right? So the rules are really, really extensive. The way that works is there is a challenger of record. So it is the one team that challenged the holder to the race. And that happens to be Luna Rossa, which means they get special rights. One of their rights is this round of all the sailing was supposed to be done by February 24th. If they delayed this by a week, they may not be done by the 24th. So the organizers said, well, why don't we just slide all the races down a couple of days? And if we go past the 24th, we go past the 24th. But we get to have fans, we get to do all of this. Luna Rosa, which is now ahead, you see where this is going, right? Said,
Stop the count. Stop the count.
Literally said, do what you want to do, but our rights are on the 24th, we can declare whoever's ahead on points to be the winner, and we scrap all the rest of the races, and that happens to be us right now. Now, that would be really, really bad for all of the TV broadcasters that have paid, I don't know, 10, 15 bucks to broadcast these. So the broadcasters want as many races as possible. The organizers want as many races as possible. And Luna Rosa is basically saying, we just want to win. So you can't move these races. I don't care what the coronavirus problem is. You have to keep this schedule because we're not going to give up our rights. So that led to this. Remember, this is back to a PR statement. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
There are like 3 pins in the middle of that story.
Yeah.
And you're complaining about me, but okay.
Yeah. Well, now it's time to land the plane. So the organizers are the America's Cup event, ACE. Here we go. Since Sunday, we have worked really hard. This is the chairperson, Tina Simmons, chair. Quote, since Sunday, we have worked really hard on behalf of everyone in Auckland and all Kiwis to give the challenger of record the opportunity to demonstrate some honor and respect for this country and delay the Prada Cup until we have a greater chance of everyone else being able to enjoy and benefit from being back to level 1. Quote, clearly, they have forgotten the words of their leader, Patrizio Bertelli, at the opening press conference, who spoke about how privileged everyone is to be in Auckland without significant COVID restrictions, and that therefore everyone has a commitment and a responsibility to deliver great sportsmanship. Quote, this plea has fallen on deaf ears, and it's clear their focus is solely on Luna Rosa taking the Prada Cup rather than the greater good of the country who have worked so hard in order to be in a position to stage this event. How do you really feel? Holy cow.
Shade?
I don't even think that qualifies as, to give them an opportunity to demonstrate some honor and respect for this country.
Holy cow.
Oh my goodness.
Called out. So did the Mooning Rose respond?
Oh, well, actually, no, because the rest of the press release basically says, with this in mind, we have to go racing this weekend. So here's what we're doing about it. They have a couple of courses that won't be used because it would violate the government's restrictions on people gathering. There will be no public viewing opportunities. No more. They can't have gatherings. Basically, the race village is closed. Social distancing and face masks are required. Bars and restaurants and cafes around the race village can remain open, but still have to follow level 2 guidelines. So basically, Luna Rosa said, and you're not being sporting. And yeah, you're screwing us over. And you're costing us a ton of money. And see you Saturday.
We're ready to race anytime, not anytime, any place. Actually, Saturday. And let's go.
Yeah. So earlier, a few weeks ago, we talked about how the American boat capsized, and then all the other boats came and helped it and helped rescue it, and everybody provided pumps and kept them from sinking, and then teams pitched in and helped them patch the hole in the hull and all of that stuff. And everybody was like, "Oh my God, this is such a great! This is sportsmanship, right?"
Yes,
yeah, that's over. We're in the finals now. So this isn't just some sailboat racing. This is the Prada Cup finals, man. And elbows come out when the Prada Cup's online.
So if the Mooners go down, you're saying nobody's coming to help.
I think at that point, the race organizers would say, we would love to help fish you out of the bay, but due to our level 2 virus, we can't have anybody within 6 feet of you. So we'll throw you literally a couple of Kiwis, and you can see if you can float on those, and we'll be back later. Anyway, there's the America's Cup update.
Thanks.
And also how to write a PR statement.
So I think we pretty much covered that. I was watching RuPaul's Drag Race this week. What were you watching?
So this week we watched WandaVision on Disney Plus. Have we? We make so many media recommendations. Was that on your list of things that you guys have watched?
We have watched it.
Okay. Was it on? I don't remember if that was you recommended that or not.
Well, I do now. I watched episodes 1 and 2 because they released them together, and then a week later they released episode 3. And I was, man, I don't know. It's just weird, right? And then Darcy showed up in episode 4, and things got really, really interesting really quick. So now I'm all on board and probably ought to go back and watch episodes 1, 2, and 3 and pay more attention this time, because I wasn't really, I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, yeah, it's kind of cute. This one's Dick Van Dyke, and the next one's, I don't know, whatever the heck it was. And then the Brady Bunch. And okay, I really do like it. Did you guys, are you?
Yeah. So one of my other podcasts was talking about it, and they said, look, it's really, really weird.
Yep.
And they gave without any spoilers, they gave a little bit of advice, but I think they miscalculated. What they said was, you have to get through the end of episode 2. It gives you a glimpse into what the real story is. So we watched episodes 1 and 2, and I went, it didn't give me anything.
Nope.
Then you get to episode 3, and right at the end of episode 3, oh, there's something else going on here.
Yeah.
There is literally the end of it is, okay, there is something here. So he miscalculated. Maybe he undersold it just to get people to watch. So to your point, we kept watching, and I was going to say we have to keep watching this, because I hear that you will eventually see that what you're watching isn't the thing that you're watching.
Right.
It just went on a little longer, because to be completely honest, at the end of the second episode, we were both like, I don't understand. What are we watching? Like, what is this?
Yes.
We got caught up. So episode 6 is the latest one released. We got caught up. We watched 4, 5, and 6 last night. And actually, now I'm like, man, this is really, really good. This is
really good.
Really good.
Yep.
They should probably put a warning on the beginning of it of, you just got to stick with this. And I know they say that about a lot of shows, but what I'm telling you is, no, on this one, like this one, it actually is a thing.
If it weren't for the thing at the end of episode 3, I wouldn't have gotten to episode 4.
Yeah.
But I was still really, really skeptical. And then I'm just going to say, and then Darcy shows up, and then it's on. So
Yeah, we were at the same point, which is we watched 1, and I said we just have to make it through 2, and we got done with 2, and Lisa says, like, well, where was that? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, you know what? We'll give it another one. Fine, we'll watch 3. If this thing doesn't start doing something here, and then right at the end, and you're like, you got me now. So anyway, I'm very, very happy that we started watching that, because to be honest, the original trailers was like, I don't understand. What is this, concept art? Is this like an art school thing?
Right.
Anyway, it gets better. It's now getting to be a very interesting story. So that is where we
Well, and according to Lucas, this is going to run for 10 episodes, and then they take a week off, and then The Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts the following week.
Yes. And then Loki drops, I believe.
After that, okay. So we've got months of Marvel TV coming at us, folks.
Well, if they're doing it right, because most people pay by the month. What they want to do is they want to have at least one show going, right? So you've at least got something. Like, you don't want to stack them at the same time, because now you're just wasting you're
wasting subscribers,
right? So they're all only 10 episodes, but you do one, and then that leads you to the next one, which leads you to the next one, which leads you to the next one. So
yes.
Also, I would just say that I believe I may have this wrong. We record on a Thursday, we release later. Um, let's put it this way. By the time this gets released, the first episode of season 2 of For All Mankind is going to be released on Apple TV Plus, on Apple TV, on Apple TV. So, yeah, I'm looking forward.
You know what Amy's doing right now while we're recording?
Is she watching it?
She's rewatching season 1 because she's already watched all of it. And I watched after work today and before we came here, like 3 and maybe 3.5 episodes because, oh my God, it's good.
Yeah. So there you go. Good stuff. I will also say the other thing that we started watching, we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. We watched the Doctor Who Christmas special.
Yes.
So we decided we went back and we started watching we started watching Doctor Who from the first season of the reboot. So we're 4, 5, 6 episodes in. The special effects, as Lisa points out, she's like, they have to be trying to make these look this bad. Like that's part of the show, right? It's campy or whatever. But then you watch WandaVision or you watch For All Mankind, whatever, one of these shows. Again, Mandalorian. And you think the entire budget for special effects, not just for an episode or for a season, but for the entire series of Doctor Who, wouldn't cover the backgrounds
Nope.
in For All Mankind.
Nope.
But anyway, yes. So there we go. Science fiction, like superheroes and science fiction, which is all really our TV's going to end up being anyway. So what did you learn this week?
We've talked about NASCAR a little bit in this episode.
Yep.
And the Daytona 500 was this week.
It was, yes.
Do you know? Well, let me back up because we've covered it on this podcast. The name of the Super Bowl trophy is...
It's the, sorry, you know what the first thing popped in my head was? Larry O'Brien trophy. That's not it. That's not it.
Not it.
Wrong sport. It's the Vince Lombardi trophy.
It's the Vince Lombardi trophy, not the Pete Rozelle trophy.
which I apparently renamed it in a previous episode. But no, it's the Vince Lombardi trophy.
Right. And the NFC Championship trophy, the winner of the NFC Championship.
I know the AFC for sure is the... I don't know the NFC. I can't recall the NFC one.
It's the George S. Hallis trophy.
Oh, okay. Yes. I was going to go there. Yeah.
Founder of the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Yes. And the AFC trophy is...
the Lamar Hunt trophy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs. Right. Do you know what the name of the trophy for the winner of the Daytona 500 is?
It's the Harley Earl trophy.
Wow.
I have so much useless knowledge. It is hard. There are not words in English that explain the amount of useless knowledge that I have. Sorry, did I just steal your thunder?
No. That's source of all truth and worthless knowledge. Todd Prince.
Hey, how's it going?
According to the source of all truth and knowledge, the Harley J. Earl Trophy, named after General Motors car designer Harley Earl, who was the second commissioner of NASCAR and the designer of the Chevy Corvette.
Yep.
And I knew there was a trophy, but I'm sure all of these trophies have names, and it's...
Yeah. Do you know what the trophy is for the Indy 500?
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
I believe, I was going to look it up, and then I thought that is cheating, so I'm not looking it up. I believe, you can fact check me on this, I believe it's the Borg-Warner trophy.
That actually sounds right. Yeah, yes, you're right. It is the Borg-Warner trophy, and that's Borg-Warner.
Yeah.
It is named for and was commissioned by automotive supplier Borg-Warner, which isn't near as cool as
Harley J. Earl.
It's Harley J. Earl.
Who I believe 10 years ago or so, the GM cast a guy as Harley J. Earl and did a couple of commercials, like with him coming back to explain. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's some Harley J. Earl commercials. And when they aired, my first thought was, GM, That name's probably more important to you than almost anybody watching this commercial.
50% of the people recording this podcast. So that's what I learned, that the NASCAR Trophy A has a name and B what it was. So not just any old trophy. How about you?
All right. So, watching a YouTube video, I learned something that the statement I put in our rundown notes is, do you know who started calling football soccer? I'll give you a hint. Don't blame the U.S.
Really?
Yeah. So you know how Americans take a lot of stick, as it were? Oh, it's football. It's not soccer. So I guess this is kind of old news. Originally, I guess a scholar produced a paper in 2014. I'm looking at a Time magazine article from 2018. But apparently, do you know who invented the term soccer to reference English football?
I'm going to go with not Harley J. Earl.
You're correct. Congratulations.
First thing I've gotten right all night.
The English.
Really?
Yes. And not just any English. He believes that it started at either Oxford or Cambridge. This story sounds a little ridiculous, but I'm gonna loop in of a little bit of personal history of why it's not as ridiculous as I think as it could sound. So what he basically said was, in the 1800s in England, there were multiple games that everybody called football that had a bunch of different rules. And so by 1863, the Football Association was formed to write some rules down and explain what they are. At the time, football was both soccer, as we think about it, and rugby were both considered football. And so people would show up, do you want to play a game of football? Yes. And then you show up and you think you're going to be kicking something, and instead they're kicking you, right? Like there's a difference between kicking a ball and playing rugby. Round
ball, oval ball.
Yeah.
Right.
The level of contact is completely different as well. Like you need to be prepared of what's going to happen to you. So
am I using my hands today? No, we're not using it. Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Which version of football? So they decided to come up with, so the Football Association said the stuff that you play with just with your feet is going to be called association football, because the rules come from the Football Association. So it's association football. And the Rugby Football Union said, we're going to call ours rugby. Now that still doesn't explain how we get here. So you were in a fraternity in college. I was in a fraternity in college. At one point when I was in my fraternity at college, and everybody's like, wait, what did Todd just say? That doesn't sound right. That he was in a fraternity. Somebody let him in? Really? Can we fact check that? Anyway, that's fine. When I got to college, and I was not at one of the quote unquote top level ones. I was in the engineering fraternity. And even then I was just barely hanging on. But we were informed as freshmen that we had different words for things. I don't know. Did you guys have any other, to separate yourselves from other people? Did you guys have any? Here's the one that stands out in my head. You're looking at me like this is insane, and it is insane. And I am with you, because this was insane at the time, and I didn't participate because that's who I am. Which you don't get pizza. You know what you get?
You get za.
Za.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to go for some za? What? Stop that. Just stop that. Just cut it out.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
Well, apparently, in the late 1860s, 1870s, the lads at Oxford and Cambridge like to come up with things, and they added ER onto the end of words so that they would sound hip. So rugby was referred to as rugger, which is still in use today in places, right?
Yes. Those on the field would be ruggers.
Exactly. Yes. Which this guy is saying came from Oxford and Cambridge. The problem becomes, it also says they started footer, sport, sporter. But the problem is that it was association football, and you can't put ER on the end of association. Hey, do you want to go do some associationer? So they took the SOC from the middle of association.
It was Socher.
And then referred to as soccer. Now, here's the other piece. That term, according to this guy, looking through old newspapers and stuff, was widely recognized in England through the first half of the 20th century and actually had an uptick after World War II. He believes because the number of American soldiers in the country, people kept referring to it as soccer in England. He said it was only by the 1980s that Brits started to turn against the word, and you can see the usage of it decline in popular culture.
Really?
Because it was a backlash. We're going to separate ourselves. So for all of the stuff about it's football, not soccer, apparently the entire British Isles referred to it at least interchangeably as soccer not that long ago. And once again, I think we can all agree that snobby fraternity guys shouldn't be allowed to name anything and are really hard to live with.
Our music is Happy Boy by Kevin MacLeod. It's available on Incompetech.com under a Creative Commons Attribution License. You can subscribe to Talking to Todd anywhere you get your pods. Just search Talking and the number 2.
That's Potter.
We would be Potters.
Sure. Yeah, we're Potters. Thanks, Cambridge.
Search Talking and the number 2. No G, no space. We have a page on Facebook. You can like our page on Facebook. So here's the thing. We have 4 more follows than we have likes. So apparently,
wait, what?
We have more people that follow us than like us. I'll follow you, but I won't like it.
You know, now that you said that out loud, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it seems ridiculous until you say what that means. Yeah, you know what? Fine, I'll follow you. You know what? It's good to have family.
So here's the thing. I dug into this a little bit more. 2 of the people who don't like us are you and Felderman.
Well, I get Felderman. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
You've both been invited to like us. Neither of you have. So are you telling me you don't even like doing this show? You can check out our award-winning merch on Zazzle. There is new merch on Zazzle this week, actually.
Ooh, look at that.
So I did a new word cloud for our 50th episode that it's a lot of our listeners and contributors, their names on it, and some of the more recent highlights, including also CPA and Tuba City. So some of the hits, some of the new stuff for episode 50. Anyway, it's not award winning yet, but it could be at some point.
We'll see if we can talk to the people that hand those out and see if that can make the list.
Well, and I'm also actually working with Lauren Campbell to produce some new merch, so stay tuned there. But Lauren has a side hustle that she produces merch, and so I'm working with her on some stuff there. So more to come later. You can tweet at us at Talking to Todd. You can always leave us a voicemail at 515, also CPA. That's 515-257-6272. And the website is talkingtotodd.com. Thanks as always to our listeners. You can always send us your feedback. Feedback at talkingtotodd.com. Todd?
So the Harley J. Earl commercials ran in 2002 and 2003. So I was off by a decade. The gentleman that played Harley J. Earl is named John Deal, who also played Cruiser in the movie Stripes, Detective Larry Zito in Miami Vice, and G. Gordon Liddy in Oliver Stone's Nixon. And according to him, and the ads, Harley J. Earl designed the Corvette? Yeah, these were ads for a Buick. So I'm not sure what they thought they were. Here's a guy, here's a car. They kind of have something to do with each other. And according to this piece in Automotive News, after the commercials came out, he started to get a lot more recognized as Harley J. Earl than anything else that he had done. And he said, I'm a lot happier doing Harley Earl than Larry Zito. So there you go. Buick commercials in the 2000s, better for face recognition than being on Miami Vice.
Oh, on that note, we've been talking to Todd. And outtakes. We did watch season 6 as recommended by Lisa of RuPaul's Drag Race. We did watch season 6 of Drew. Damn it! It's water. It's water.
Yeah, the problem is you don't have those mistakes when you've got something from the beverage barn. Which again, I know it's not the right thing, but that's what it should be. So I'm just calling it that. So if you get something from the beverage barn, you're fine.
So we, third time's a charm. We did, per Lisa's recommendation, watch season 6.
All right. So we have nominations for Idiot of the Week. I put 2 on there. One I kept secret from you. Because that's the new thing.
That's how we do.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I was going to say, you either need to watch more or less RuPaul, because this level is kind of fun, but I think... Okay.